I'm just in this 6-second race car. It's only got 2 gears. It should have 6 gears to be a street car, Mark. I'm going to never forget this. You said, there is no way on earth I will ever build a turbocharged Torana. What sort of power are you making to run 200 miles an hour? It would be over 2,000.
It'd be over 2,000.
Yeah. And that's what, at about 40 pounds?
40, yeah. Just touching 40.
Sweet redemption, I will never let you down. Will it ever get sunny? Oh, I wonder.
Right, so this is going from 0 to 260 k's an hour in under 4.5 seconds.
We're here in Geelong on the annual Australia Day cruise with Mark Drew. Now Mark, you've got 3 cars here, all in the family.
Yeah.
This one, as people don't like to be called, you know, what's a street car and what isn't, but this is a true 6-second street car.
Yeah, well, we drive it.
Yeah, you drive it.
Street.
Give us a bit of a rundown. It's gone 698 at what, 200?
Oh, just under 200. 400 cube LS, twin turbo, twin G42s, power glide. Obviously we race it on methanol.
On the street today, we just got
Just
it on
pump 98.
Because people quite don't understand, you can't exactly run, what, 2,000 odd horsepower this would make?
Yeah, nah. There's no point. What's the point? You can't have 2,000 horsepower on the street.
You got Higgins heads on this.
Yeah, Nathan's heads.
And this is a hydraulic.
Hydraulic cam, yep.
Which is sort of not that common, is it?
Nah.
On a car at this power level.
Nah, no, there's too many that have ran what we've ran with a hydraulic cam.
Yeah. Now I like this car, everything's hidden. You've always done this sort of stuff in your cars, haven't you?
Yeah.
I remember featuring, you had a green LC. We did a photo shoot for one of those Holden mags. This is going back probably, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember you said to me, I'm going to never forget this, you said, there is no way on earth I will ever build a turbocharged Torana.
Yeah, well.
You certainly got the bug and eaten those words, but for the better. It's all, I know it's all a bit of trial and error with this stuff, but cars progressively got quicker and quicker, hasn't it?
Yeah. First meeting we went 860 and then I built this car just to run an 8.
An 8.
It went 860 first meeting, then we went like 820. Maybe 2 meetings after that, we went like a 795 through the mufflers. This is all through the mufflers, like as a street car on E85. I think I ended up going 770 on E85.
It's gone 190 miles an hour with a full exhaust, hasn't it?
193 through the exhaust.
A few people have pointed out that the bullhorns is actually a bit of a safety aspect, isn't it?
Yeah, just in case it does them big wheel stands, it pushes the front down a little bit. People don't understand that, but that's what they're for, the bullhorn.
How hard was it? I know you were stuck, so no, I shouldn't say stuck, but you were in the low 7-second range for quite some time, weren't you?
Yeah, we went 750s a lot, then a few 730s, and then we went to Swan Hill and it went a 723. And then, yeah, it busted the block. So then we had to, I built this motor, 400 cubes.
Dart block?
Yeah, dart block, yeah.
But this is a smaller engine, yeah?
Yeah, it's 400 cubes.
Oh, 400 cubes.
Yeah, the other one was 427. So we just did that for a little bit more for the RPM range.
So you were saying earlier, Mark, this handles, I guess, this sort of driving all right? Doesn't get hot?
Nah, not a problem. Sitting on 173.
You got the full Holly system in this?
Yeah, got a few different dashes you can play with. That's all my EGT, so that's everything running through the car.
How many cars have run a 6-second pass with a flat bonnet? You've also got your wife's car. Now, long-time viewers of Full Boost would probably know the video of Mark driving this at Heathcote, running 8s with the column manual with a... Did you even have harnesses on in that one? You had a lap sash.
Lap sash, yeah.
Probably a bit smarter these days. You probably wouldn't keep doing that, would you?
Nah, I wouldn't do it now.
I don't even think it had a roll cage in it back then.
Nah, it didn't. No, all the roll cage, well, that's out of it now. So
Back out of it.
It's back to full street. Never get raced again, that car.
Yeah. This ran, what, 850 odd?
841 on E85 through the mufflers, as pretty much as it sits now.
Yeah. And your son's car? The first time I saw this, I swear it had a Holden 5 litre in it.
Yeah, it did. It come out factory of a Holden 5 litre.
But you did a really nice mock-up setup, didn't you?
Yeah.
LS, but you made it to look like the...
Yeah, like Holden V8, yeah.
How fast did you go with that setup?
10:02.
So this is a big cubed LS, or?
Oh, it's 416 cubes.
Yeah. You run this on E85? Or
98.
98. So what have you run now? You've just dipped into the 9s with a single
We
plane.
changed the manifold. That's the only thing difference between the other. It looks like a different engine, but it's only a manifold change.
Is
So
that the Higgins one?
Yeah, that's a Higgins. One of Nathan's heads.
Yeah, the twin
manifold.
piece one.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with your car? Like, where do you go? Like, it's never ending, but
No, that's it.
that's
Once
it.
we've
I mean,
run
you
it-
run a 6. I
If
mean,
we go on 80 or 680 or something, that's it. We're done.
you have run Drag Challenge multiple times.
Yeah.
What do we have to do to convince the people on YouTube that this is a street car? Because you're not allowed to drive fast cars on the street, are you?
Well, apparently we just go for a drive and we'll show them, eh? Probably do a 300-kilometre drive around the coast.
Now, any young blokes watching, the point of doing this is you drive sensible on the street. If you want to go fast, go to the racetrack. Don't do skids out of the pub when you're leaving and give everyone a bad name. Don't see too many of these on the road. Original VN Group A, SS Group A. These were made for touring car racing. 8.5, 168 miles an hour. So this car has run an 8.6 at 179 miles an hour at Cootamundra. So realistically, it's probably, I don't know, maybe an 820 car or something. How often do you get the car out, Mark?
As much as we can.
Yeah. Especially at this time of year.
Yeah. I mean, Tim drove up to Melbourne the other week. That was pretty cool.
Mark, a lot of people would say you cannot run aluminium conrods in a street car.
Nah. Unheard of.
They are a serviceable item, but I think their life is a lot longer than probably what people used to push.
Not today. They do like 150 passes, then they change the rods. But how often are you going to do 150 passes? You're not going to do that in a weekend. You're not even going to do that in a year.
I didn't think it's what I wanted. I had it all figured out. Then you came, turned everything upside down. Now you're all I think about.
There you got a Lambo and a VN Group A with a flaming Corolla in the middle. Ruining everything. No, Tesla.
Oh, I've been dreaming about you every day, and I don't know what to do.
So you've spent a lot of time in and around this car, Tim. Good friend of Mark's.
From day one.
We know you from your, well, you've got a bit of a crusty looking ute, yeah?
I do. Pro-charged VZ. It looks like shit.
9s on 98, yeah?
Yeah, 996 as I drive it to work.
This car, we were talking earlier about some of the safety in it. A lot of people probably just think, yeah, you bang a roll cage in a car and it's good to go, but there's so many 1%ers, as you were touching on earlier.
Yeah, like when people think of air shifters, they just think, oh, well, we just try and make it more consistent. But we didn't use it for consistency when Mark was already shifting within 70 RPM of red, you know, like its shift point anyway. It was getting a car at this level, you sort of want to take a bit of stuff away from the driver and keep his hands on the steering wheel at all times. So that means the shifter is air operated, the parachutes are air operated by buttons on the steering wheel, and it just makes it safer that he can actually go down the track with both hands on the steering wheel.
Yep.
In case if something goes wrong.
So you've got the bump box, the trans brake, and the parachute effectively on the
So
steering
it's
wheel.
got a trans brake, a bump button. Obviously the switches aren't here at the moment. But once the trans brake's released, that bump button then turns into a parachute release. Still has the mechanical override, you still need a redundancy.
I don't think people can get around the fact you can change a car and run it differently at the track, because there's no way you can possibly do that on the road.
No, you can't. Like even at the bare minimum. So a couple of months ago, Mark decided he wanted to run it at Heathcote and as close to street trim as possible. And it was very soft, so to speak. It still went 750, it was 756 at 192, and that was through the mufflers. Mind you, it was on methanol fuel. Yeah. It's about as close as you can get to running that far, you know, like from the street to the race.
I'm surprised how well it handles the bumps for a car that would need them. I know you can stiffen the shocks up when you race it, but still, it's not too bad considering, you know, it's a 50-year-old sort of car. And
yeah, 100%. Like,
and Vic, let's be honest, roads in Australia aren't that flash.
No, and you'd think over time the roads would get better with the cars getting better, but it's you know, gone the other way. And this is only a couple of clicks away from being able to put down all that power. And when we're talking about power, like as you were asking about earlier,
because that's what it's become now. It's not so much about making power, it's power management.
It is, yeah. So Jeff Johnson from Power Management Solution, he's basically done the tune on this, and we just manage it and then just fine tune it depending on conditions as needed. But there's always, every pass there'll be trimming some fuel, because it's all, you know, condition related, whether it be temperature, density, altitude, all this sort of stuff comes into a factor, and the car might want a bit more fuel, it might want a bit taken out. And we're just trying to trim that down to try and get the most out of it that we can. Like this doesn't have, it has the capability, but we're not at that level where we're doing individual cylinder trimming for timing or fuel. That's something that we haven't explored yet.
And this doesn't have, you know, like shock sensors and...
It doesn't have shock sensors. It does have a front ride height sensor, and we use that for, effectively, it's just for wheeling.
So you touched on earlier, like a car like this, you're on a 275 radial, and you're effectively trying to put down, what, 2,000 horsepower within 1.5 seconds?
Yeah. So the last pass at Sydney, the logs showed between 40 and 41 in 1.5 seconds. So at that RPM, that's effectively around, you'd say, you know, 1,900 to 2,000 horsepower you're trying to apply in 1.5 to 1.6 seconds. Yeah. And that's managed with ignition timing, or this doesn't really, it does have timing retard, but not as much as you'd actually think. The chassis setup it's a very well sorted combination. The last pass of the last event was the best 60 foot had actually gone and drove straight, and I think that was a 110. Like this isn't a big block, so it doesn't have, you don't see that 170 mile an hour half track. We're trying to make everything up in that first 60 to 330. I don't think you'll see this thing go 170 and up. It doesn't have the cubic inches.
It seems ridiculous to talk like that, because realistically 170 in the quarter mile in a street car is ridiculously fast.
And like, so this is going from 0 to 260 k's an hour in under 4.5 seconds. It's gone to like a high 299 to the 330. So these are the numbers we try our best to chase when we go racing.
320 kilometres an hour in under 7 seconds. Bit of range anxiety here, bit of V85 life, eh? So I'm just in this 6-second race car. It's only got 2 gears. Should have 6 gears to be a street car, Mark.
Yeah, okay. How about if we put an Aussie 4-speed in it? Does that make it a street car?
Banjo back in it.
I don't know if the banjo could actually, They do banjos now that can probably handle a little bit of power.
In all seriousness, this car drives itself, doesn't it? 1% throttle. I think anyone could drive it, as you said earlier. In this particular form, I'm not sure at about 2,000 horsepower, but it's pretty easy to drive.
I'd throw anyone in the car with 2,000 horsepower.
2,000, you reckon?
Yeah, no, I would, but as long as they've got a brain.
Yeah.
There's a lot out there that haven't got a brain.
Yeah, I know. The brake pedal's a little bit non-existent, but if you do push it, it does pull up. And you said it just doesn't have a booster.
No booster.
But in all serious, I'm surprised how well it handles the temperature. It never gets remotely hot.
It does what it does.
That's what it does.
It does what it should, and it does what it does.
It's a lovely view in this 6-second street car. You could probably drive for 2 hours with that indicator on and you'd never notice it.
Probably have. And so you look at the dash and go, what's that green light flashing?
I get it, in a car like this you can't hear it yet.
Yeah.
But then you follow a Camry and it's just on for 20 minutes and you're like, surely you'd hear that clunk, 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 clunk flat
What's
out
that
on
noise?
So what rear suspension do you use in it?
It's right now, pretty much standard.
Yeah.
No coilovers, nothing. No. It's got a aftermarket spring.
Yeah.
It's got a AFCO shocker in it. That's it.
Have you got a floater in it?
Yeah, it's got a floater.
Would it have to now to race?
Yeah. So when I build this car, I'll put a floater in it
Oh,
because you never know where you're going to end up. And we sort of ended up a little bit further than what we thought we were going to go. When we went 720, we all laughed at each other and said, this car's going to run a 6. Yeah, that's when we knew. It's funny to say, isn't it? But to drive a car like this, and then to take it to a racetrack and run a 6.
It's pretty ridiculous when you think about it. Don't forget to order your track merchandise. We've got an awesome new 25 years of full boost. Yes, that's right, 25 years we've been doing this. Old school boost gauge. We've got these in t-shirts and hoodies, so get on it at shop.fullboost.com.au. So we're going to fill this race car up with some race fuel from the servo.
98.
98 octane.
In the old days, it'd be 98% lead.
I see your son over there laughing at you, Mark.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at him.
Everyone's a hero when they're not on camera, right?
That's right. We'll get him
But
over
they
here.
won't get on camera. It's lovely Victorian roads. Count the potholes, you'd be a millionaire in about 5 minutes, wouldn't you?
And we pay for these roads. This is what our rego pays for. How good's that?